Welcome, 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 welcome back to the library. And happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I am so happy that you chose to spend some time with me on this romantic holiday. Excuse me. Before I get started, I just want to acknowledge those in the chat, as always. Hello, Delilah. Hello, Gerard. Gerard. Hi, BLC. Hello, Magooch. How are you, Patty Joyce? Zelda Z is here. Harlow Blonde is here. Good to see you. Tommy Thompson is here. Great to see you. Tommy Stiggs. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. I know tonight is a night that a lot of people are busy, so I don't expect a lot of folks to be hanging out. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I think you'll enjoy it. I have some interesting tales. I have 3 tales for us tonight. But I'm going to light my candles as always. There we go. Nice backup candle, which is off screen. All right. As you can see, Lenny is dressed and ready to go tonight. He has his red fedora on, and he also has his scarf. But in the back there, Victor is back there. You really can't see. He has a little red fedora on. So he's in this theme tonight as well. He's all into it. That's what these guys like to do. They're big holiday enthusiasts. So I don't want to discourage that. All right. And of course, I have a couple of videos at the end that we could talk about to see if they're what we think, if they're real or not. But let's start with our stories. 14 people is good enough for me. I don't know about you, but I'm happy with 14 people on a Friday night of Valentine's Day. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't that easy to find ghost stories that are associated with Valentine's Day. I thought it would be easier. I thought there would have been more of them, but there really aren't many. What I did find was a lot of lover-based ghost stories, but that's not really what I'm looking for per se. I'm looking for something that's directly related to the day of Valentine's Day. So I found 3 of them. So we'll go with what we have. All right. The first one. The Pacific Wheel on Santa Monica Pier in California. Now, the Pacific Wheel is a Ferris wheel, and the Santa Monica Santa Monica Pier is a very famous amusement pier. It's been in so many classic movies. It's been the backdrop for so many classic movies, and so many of Hollywood's classic and famous stars spent time there over the years. Now, I'd like to show you a quick picture of what I'm talking about here as we delve into this. This is what it currently looks like. This is the Pacific Ferris wheel on Santa Monica Pier. And as you can see, it's all lit up for Valentine's Day with a heart on it. And you'd be surprised how the ghost story, it's not much of a story. It's more of just sightings and such that took place on this specific Ferris wheel on Valentine's Day. Hello, Adam. Hello, Suzanne. How are you? Thanks for joining. All right. So that's what it looks like, right? There we go. How's that? That's better. So you get to see what I'm talking about. All right. So now this Ferris wheel is quite old. It's actually built in the 30s, I believe. Or maybe it was rebuilt in the 30s. But it's also 9 stories high. So it's a very big attraction. For the longest time, people have always loved to go on this Ferris wheel and see the sights of the Pacific Ocean, see across, Santa Monica, etc. And because of its proximity to Hollywood and the area where the stars lived, a lot of times they'd frequent it as a place to go and play and hang out. So, what is the significance of this in terms of ghosts and Valentine's Day? Well, on Valentine's Day, there's a couple of things that have happened. The first is that they have seen the spirits of famous Hollywood folks riding this Ferris wheel together. Now, some of the people they've seen, Joe DiMaggio, his spirit, Marilyn Monroe's spirit, and usually those two they see together. They have seen JFK's ghost here as well. People have said they've seen JFK's ghost, as well as Frank Sinatra's ghost riding the Ferris wheel. Charlie Chaplin's ghost has been seen on the Ferris wheel as well. And always, obviously, at night, and usually on Valentine's Day, the sites are more frequent. Now, if you look into this, you'll see that there's ghost tours of the Santa Monica Pier. So the ghostly activity takes place all over the pier. But these celebrities seem to like their spirits, at least seem to like to ride the Ferris wheel. And this seems to happen again and again and again. Now, another legend that goes along with this is that if you go alone on this Ferris wheel on Valentine's Day and you do not have a sweetheart with you, and you go to the top and you close your eyes and you pucker up, don't be surprised when you open your eyes if you find a spirit kissing you. So that would be quite a fright to see that. But they said that it does happen, that from time to time, people will go on there and they will find that there is a ghostly spirit next to them looking for a little loving on Valentine's Day. And their kiss into the air gets met with ghostly lips. So I don't know. I couldn't find any direct account by name of someone who said that this happened to them, but it is a legend that happens on this pier. So that was our first story. It's pretty short. There's not much to it. Just that the celebrity ghosts tend to ride this Ferris wheel together, specifically Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio. And there's also this ghostly kisser that will, if you're a woman at least, if you're a woman and you go on there and you pucker up and close your eyes, you might find a male ghost kissing you when you open those eyes again. So, if you're a lady and you'd like to try it out, by all means, try it and see what happens. Maybe it's going on tonight, right now. Maybe people are going on there right now and seeing what happens. But that's our first little tidbit about Valentine's Day ghost stories. Not very scary, but still, I thought quite interesting. All right. Hello, Marta Fowler. Good to see you. Tony the Night Owl. Good to see you. Sven Larson. Nice to see you, my friend. Who else is here that I missed? Paulie Donuts. Good to see you. Todd Father. Good to see you. All right. Thank you guys for joining. All right. So what did you think of that? That's the first story. Quite a little interesting tidbit. Not a big one. Not a scary one. Just, I think, quite interesting. It's going on tonight, right, Suzanne? Right. It's Valentine's Day evening. You're absolutely right. So we'll see. Maybe some people are seeing somebody tonight. Maybe Joe DiMaggio. Maybe JFK. Who knows? Maybe Frank is singing at the top. But anyway, that's our first story. Okay. Let's go on to our next story. Let's get rid of this. We don't need that any longer. All right. Now, our next story takes place on Valentine's Day in Roanoke, Virginia, in the year 1902. And the story goes that on that evening, a man by the name of Alex Hatterman had a little tidbit with his wife, a bit of a dispute. Don't know what it was about, but that dispute sent him off to the local pub to spend Valentine's Day drinking instead of with his wife. And he spent the good part of the night there at the bar doing shots, shot in a beer joint, until it was closing time. And he, Alex, as well as other single guys in that bar, began to stumble home in the snow. It was a snowy winter, snowy Virginia part, a part of Virginia on a snowy winter, and they began to stumble home in the snow. Now, on his way home, Alex tells the account of how in the behind him he heard footsteps coming, footsteps following him in the snow. He looked back and he could see a woman following him. Well, Alex wasn't in the mood for any type of interaction at this particular time, so he quickened his pace. And he quickened his pace along the streets of Roanoke, getting closer and closer to his home. But he noticed that even though he quickened his pace, the woman seemed to be catching up on him to the point when the next thing he knew is that she was walking right beside him. And what he saw was a woman in a black dress and a black hat. After all, it is winter, black gloves, fully clothed with black, all black, which is an interesting part of this. And the woman begins to talk to him. And the woman says to him, Are you on your way home? And he nods and says, Yes, I'm heading on. I'm on my way home. I'm going to see my wife. And at that point, he turns away, but she still is following him, still pacing with him. And the next thing he knows, he feels her hand on his right shoulder. And he turns to her and he says, Can I help you? And she says, in a very soft and low musical tone, You're not the first married man I am seeing home on this Valentine's night. And at that point, he noticed that he had arrived at his front gate of his house. And he turned to her and he said, This is where I live. And she said, Okay. She nodded. And he opened the gate to his front house and he began to walk in. As he walks up the stairs to his home, he turns around and he sees the woman in black vanish before his very eyes. Now, this is the first sighting of what we will call the Lady in Black. Now, the legend goes that every Valentine's Day, she will be wandering the streets of Roanoke in hopes of escorting married men back safely to their wives. Now, you might say, why would this be happening? Why would a spirit be doing this? Well, the story goes is that she was a jilted wife who, on Valentine's Day, caught her husband out being unfaithful. And this was such a powerful experience to her that she has committed her entire afterlife to trying to prevent this from happening again to another woman. So her goal is to be out in the streets of Roanoke and making sure those married men do not go astray, but end back their night back at home and not taking a detour at the local you know what, or having a secret rendezvous. Now, who knows what would happen if she ever encountered someone who was actually doing this? I couldn't find anything about that. Like if she encountered someone who was actually having an extramarital affair or was trying to go to some place like a house of ill repute or something like that. All I found is that she's very dedicated to taking married men home. And it's strictly married men. Now, how she knows who's married and who isn't, I really don't know, because there's been no accounts of a single person encountering her. It's always been a married man that encounters her on their walk home on Valentine's Day evening. So the woman in black is on patrol, and you better not be unfaithful, at least on Valentine's Day, because she'll be there to run a little interference. So a kind of a helpful spirit. I guess it depends on your point of view, but helpful to fellow wives, and I guess helpful to the men as well, to help them prevent them from going astray. So she's indeed, we'll call her a helpful spirit, the woman in black of Roanoke, Virginia. There you go. There's your second Valentine's Day story of the evening. Hello, Surviving. Good to see you. Hello, Carmela. Hello, Cranky. Good to see you. Thindu, my brother. Good to see you. Who else did come in that I miss? I don't want to miss anyone. All right, let's see real quick. I think I got everyone. Tony, I said hello to Tony before. Delilah, yep, everyone. I think I got everyone. Cool. Arlene, I almost missed you. Arlene, good to see you, Arlene. All right. And I couldn't find any pictures of the lady in black, unfortunately. But, what are you going to do? I do take, it's not often that you see spirits, photographs of spirits, but I thought, why not? Let's see if we can do it. And I tell you, if you saw my advertising short for this, I did have a picture, a picture of it, a generated picture of it, which, let me see, I'll show it to you right now if you missed it. The lady in black walking along with the man, walking that married man home safely to his wife. All right, cool. All right. All right, let's get rid of that. And let's go on to our final story. Now, our final story is a documented. Hello, Mustang Mike. Hello, Don McHugh. Good to see you. Our final story is a documented historical event, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Now, we're going to take you to Valentine's Day, 1929, in Chicago, when the famous Al Capone decided to set up his enemies' men, his competition's men, and by his competition, I mean George Bugs Moran, his biggest competition during Prohibition. And he sets his men up for what would turn out to be called historically the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Now, this happens on 2122 North Clark Street in Chicago. And it's quite ingenious how this happens, because it starts off with two of Capone's men arranging with an envoy of Moran's men to meet there for a shipment of Canadian whiskey. That there was this shipment of Canadian whiskey that was going to be there, and it was going to be turned over to Moran's men. So, of course, they show up. Well, when they show up to this garage, because that's basically what it is, it turns out to be a garage. The location is a garage where the whiskey was to be held. And like I said, it was 2122 North Clark Street. So the two men show up. The two men show up of Capone's men are there waiting. And as Moran's men come in, the two men are in plain clothes, and they begin to converse with them and begin to go through the motions of the transaction, when suddenly a police car pulls up to the place, sirens blaring. Two policemen run outside and come in, and with the help of the two plainclothes Capone folks, they get the draw on Moran's men. So there's 6 of Moran's men in the garage when this happens. And their names are Adam Hayer, Frank Gussenberg, John May, Al Shank, I think, Albert Kalek, I can't even pronounce this name, Kachelik, Albert Kachelik, and Reinhard Schwimmer. So 6 of Moran's men are put up against the wall, and I'll show you what it looks like. This is a reenactment that happened by the police right after this horrible incident occurs. They're put up against the wall like this, and they are gunned down by Tommy gun machine guns. And that behind them is the wall, which has bullet holes in it and blood on it, et cetera, et cetera. Now, how did they get away with this is really the question, right? Well, it's quite ingenious how they get away with it, because all the machine gun noise obviously alerted people in the neighborhood that something sinister had been going down. Well, when people look outside, after the 6 men are killed, the 2 police officers, who are Capone's men pretending to be police officers, handcuff the other 2 Capone plainclothes guys and bring them out handcuffed and put them in the back of the police car and drive away, siren and lights blaring or whatever, sirens, whatever blaring. So any onlookers thought the police had come and dealt with the situation on the spot. So there was no reason for anyone to suspect anything. They think it was taken care of. So it's hours before the bodies are actually discovered. Actually, 3 hours go by before anyone could actually discover them, because no one knew. And what made them discover these bodies would have been there even longer. What made them discover them was that there was a German Shepherd tied inside the garage, who obviously was spared, was not shot, didn't get hit by stray bullets or whatever, but he was tied up, and he begins to bark and bark and bark and bark and bark, to the point that someone comes to investigate, what is this German Shepherd constantly barking about? And that's when they discover the bodies. So obviously, such a traumatic and negative and evil type of event is going to have some type of ghostly or spiritual activity, or at least residual activity, right? Well, it does. Now, the garage in question is demolished in 1967, but the bricks from that become a collector's item that they are sold and auctioned off. And there's a lot of folklore that goes along with the people that bought these bricks having bad luck happen to them, that these bricks were cursed, bad luck, not a good thing. Since buying these, certain things happen, like accidents. People that own the bricks would get into accidents. People that own the bricks would get dreadful diseases and get very sick and die. So a lot of things, negative energy, went with these people that wanted to own these bricks as a collector's item of the massacre. So there's still about 300 bricks that have been taken and are on display in Las Vegas in the Mob Museum. So if you ever want to take a look at them and you're in Las Vegas, you go there, you'll see the actual bricks from the massacre, and some of them have the bullet holes in them. So I guess it's quite an interesting thing to see. But what happened as a result of this? Well, like I said, as a result of this, the garage was demolished. So the garage is no longer there. So you can't go and visit the garage. In fact, what is there is in the back of it, there is a housing project. And in the site where the garage stood was demolished. It's just an open area. It's an open field next to the housing project. And there's trees planted there now. I think there's 3 specific trees planted in the site where the garage stood. So let me show you what it looks like now, because it's kind of pertinent to what I'm going to tell you. Oh wait, by the way, before I do that, here is a picture of the crime photos of the bodies when they were found, just lying in front of the wall. The brick wall over here is where all the bricks came from that are being sold, and you can now see in Las Vegas. All right. And here is, if I can get this, what it looks like today. This is the spot where the garage stood. It's now a grassy area next to the housing project. Now, what happens in this area? This is where the ghostly activity actually happens. Now, many people have said that as they're walking past this area, they will hear the sounds of machine guns. They will hear the sounds of men moaning and dying, the dying breaths of men shot, dying from their wounds. There's also accounts of dogs, people who walk their dogs here, who the dogs will start to act very unusual, as if they hear the barking of the dog that was there at the time. So a lot of dogs will not even go on to this piece of grass because of the ghostly activity that goes on. They go away from it. So an interesting residual type of haunting that occurs here. People also say that they hear the sound of the bodies hitting the ground. If it's really quiet on the wind, they'll hear the sound of bodies getting shot and then falling to the ground. Some even said they hear violent screams. And this activity actually bleeds beyond this area where the actual garage was, into the projects behind it, the housing projects, that people in those housing projects would hear ghostly activity in terms of gunshots that aren't there, where there are no gunshots, where there are moans and screams and bodies dropping to the floor. So quite a powerful area on Clark Street there. Oh, by the way, the German Shepherd's name was Highball. The German Shepherd that was left in there with the dead bodies is Highball. So, and with all this murder that took place, of course, Al Capone was never officially convicted of this. No one was ever officially convicted of it. Al Capone was actually in Florida when it happened. So, but by all intents purposes, everyone said it was Al Capone that ordered it to happen because it benefited him. It wiped out a good portion of Moran's gang and put him in the position of being the top dog for Chicago's bootlegging business. So the ghostly activities the ghostly residual energy of this massacre seems to haunt the bricks as well as the site and a little bit beyond the site. But this happened on Valentine's Day in 1929. So quite a disturbing history lesson, I guess, so to speak, for 2120 North Clark Street. All right. So there you have it. The ghosts of, let me get rid of this. The ghosts of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Very, very interesting stuff. All right. Now, before I go on to my next segment, I am just curious as what you thought. What do you got? What did you guys think of these particular stories? I know there weren't many. I usually have a lot more, but like I said, it was hard to get a lot of stories that were related directly to Valentine's Day. They're just not out there. Ghostly stories. There's Al Capone and with a little dead body there, and a little bit of ghostly activity. So interesting bit of stuff there. All right. All right. There we go. All right. Now let's go on to our. Oh, thank you, Delilah. Yeah, they're I mean, there's not that many, really aren't. So I tried to figure out which were the best and convey them along here. I mean, you can't have Valentine's Day without thinking of the St. Valentine's Day massacre. You can't really think of that. So before I do that, before I go to the videos, I did want to mention a couple of things that I found, a couple of superstitions that go along with Valentine's Day, which I thought were kind of fascinating. So some of the superstitions I found, I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, but the ones I found interesting was that there was this belief that on Valentine's Day, if you're a woman, you would take an apple and you would cut it in half and you'd count the seeds that would fall out of the apple. And that number of seeds would tell you the number of kids you would have in your lifetime. That would be the number of children you're going to have based on how many fell out of that apple when you cut it in half. Interesting, right? There is also a belief that if you saw a goldfinch on Valentine's Day, you saw it with your eyes outside, it would be a sign of good luck and that you soon were to find your love interest. There's also legend, superstition. Again, most of these are for women, which is interesting. I couldn't find any that were really dedicated to men. These were all dedicated to women. The next one was about when a woman wakes up on Valentine's Day, either the first name she reads in the paper or the first name she hears on television or radio would be the name, the first name at least. It wouldn't be the actual full name. The first name of the man she would eventually marry. Interesting, right? There was also, if you find a glove, a single glove on the side of the road on Valentine's Day, the person who has the other glove would be the person you're going to marry. I don't know how you find them, but if you go find them, if you find that other glove, you're going to find the person you're going to marry. Well, and then finally, this was the one that's more ghostly related. Was that if you go to a cemetery on Valentine's evening at midnight and you run around either the church that's adjacent to it or the chapel that's there, run around it 12 times, a ghostly image of your future lover will appear to you. So we might want to try that out. If anybody else is signal, you want to head out there, you still got time, 12 midnight, head to a cemetery that has a church near it, run around the church 12 times, sit there and wait, and you'll see an image of your future lover. So quite interesting, right, Lenny? Is that what you did? No? Whatever. Yeah, Tony says it's too cold to do that. Hello, Kelly. Good to see you. Bobo. Good to see you. Emmanuel Spataro. Good to see you. Great to see you guys. So there's a few superstitions. If you're interested in that, all you have to do is Google it or, put it into any search engine. You'll see a whole bunch of different superstitions that go along with Valentine's Day over the decades, over the centuries even that these came from. Hi, Patty Joyce. Good to see you. Oh yeah, Patty, made you curious. Good. That's good. That's what I aim for. I hope it does make you guys curious and want to look into this stuff more. Now, I saw that a few people came in. I think I hit you guys already. I called you out. I don't know if there's anybody I missed. If I did, I'm sorry, but I think I got everybody here. All right. All right. Let's go to do some paranormal videos, and actually two paranormal videos and a paranormal picture. All right. I only got 3 this time. Another thing that's kind of hard to do. It's hard to find these things. Hard to find ones worth at least showing you. Like I said, most are bad. Most are obvious fakes. So let's see what we got here. And you tell me what you think. Let's start with the picture first, if I can. Hold on. See if I can get the picture first. All right. Let's see. Is this the picture? Here we go. This is the picture. Now, let me put it on full screen. This is a picture that was taken in an apartment. As you can see, there's the door to the apartment. And here's a couch with some, papers. Somebody reading a paper, actually. Someone's sitting here reading a paper. As you could see the ghostly figure here, it's dark. You could see an arm and a fist or a hand. You can see the other arm over here. And up here, you see the head. I mean, it's a pretty cool picture. I don't know. I mean, it's just a picture. Like it's not a moving. It's not a moving film. It's not a digital film. It's not a regular film. Not an old-fashioned film. It's just a still picture that was taken. Now, some people said this was a picture of a genie or a jinn or a demon, or some people think it's a shadow creature, and some people think it's a spirit or a ghost. I mean, I'm really impressed by the arm and the fist here because this could not be a camera trick. Because if it was a camera glitch, because if it was a camera glitch, the guy would have to be over 7 feet tall. Who was blurred here? I mean, look how high everything is in comparison to the top of the door. So I don't think it's a camera glitch in that sense of the word. It's not somebody moving real fast and the camera, only took up part of the image. I don't know what it is. It's Emmanuel said poltergeist. Yeah, I guess it could be a poltergeist. Hey, Big Bones, good to see you. But yeah, and I agree. It is freaky, Tony. It is freaky, because it looks like there's something there, something materializing, so to speak. But the people that took the picture said they did not see this with their naked eyes, but they saw a mist forming and they took this picture. So, but they could not see this body, this shape with their naked eye. So, an interesting background to it. By the way, this was not a digital camera. This was a traditional, 35 millimeter type of film camera. So, not so easy to fake. Not, can't really play around with it too much. So unless it's a double exposure, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it with a 35 millimeter film. So a creepy one right there. Creepy one for you. All right, let's get rid of that. Let's go on to our next one. All right. Our next one is going to come to you from Britain, I believe. Yeah, this is from Britain. Now, I want to play you this clip. It's a little hard to see, so we'll play it. Maybe I'll play it a few times to make sure you get a good look at it. Emmanuel, I don't know. I didn't hear any or read anything about ectoplasmy over there. I don't know. I didn't read any of that. I didn't mention it if they did. All right, here we go. Now, this is a ghost hunting couple so it's got a little suspect. Anytime people declare themselves ghost hunters, I always look at it a little bit more, I don't know, cynically, I guess is the right word. All right, now watch where it circles. It's a small spirit. It's down here. It's small. Now watch it. You could see it moving. There you go. It's a little difficult to see. Like I said, this is from a ghost hunting channel. So let me see if I could show you. Let me go back and do it in slow motion. All right, here we go. Now, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like maybe 4 feet in height or less. And as you could see it starts here and it goes beyond the doorway. Like goes kind of like into the door jamb or into the wall. So there's definitely something there, some type of mist there that was caught on camera. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. There you go. All right, so that's that one. A little ghost, a little guy, about 4 feet tall guy walking across. All right. All right. I mean, that one I can't really debunk. I can't say it's for sure not real, but who knows? Maybe it's just a mist of some type. I don't know, but it did look kind of like something was moving. There was like motion towards one side, even though it's small, it looked like it was motioning towards something, across. So, all right. And now this final one here, I will show you, it's been going around the internet a while. And I have my doubts about it, but I'll show it to you and you tell me what you think. Here we go. Now, this is in an apartment or house, and you're going to see, where is it? Here we go. You're going to see a flash of lightning, and then you're going to see something appear in the lower right-hand corner, looking up at up that picture on the wall. Did you catch that? Standing in the hallway, looking up at the camera. Here we go. Now, in real time, it vanishes. So, who knows? I don't know what's happening there. So I don't know what you think about that. A kid, right, Big Bones, a kid. A little kid, right. Now, what do you think? Could it be real? I don't know. I guess it could be. But I have my doubts. And I'll tell you why. Let's see. Here we go. Let me go back. Let me show you. Now, this is why I don't know. I don't really necessarily buy it. Look at this is definitely a kid, right? It's clearly a kid. Clearly ahead of a kid looking up at something. But look at the bottom. Look how thin it gets. It doesn't look real to me. It doesn't look natural. How it, it's almost as if it's like cartoonish. Because look how thin the butt and the waist and the legs are, and also look at it in perspective to the molding. Right now, wouldn't you be able? You would think you'd be able to see its feet. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, and the arms are very long, Big Bones. Right. I mean, it definitely looks like a boy, right? Wearing shorts, I guess. But the lower arm, look at the lower arm, the lower forearm doesn't look natural to me. Almost as if this is like AI generated or CGI generated. I mean, it's a cool technique, the way it flashes in and out, but I don't buy this one. I shared it because I thought it was kind of cool, but I don't buy it. So, yeah, Delilah, right? The arms are freakishly long. So I don't know. I don't buy it. I'll leave it up to you guys, obviously, as always. You always make our own determinations, but I I don't buy it. But it was good enough for me to show. It's creepy enough for me to show. So it is strange, right? It is strange, Zelda. Yep. Apparitions are usually a few feet above ground level, Tony says. So, eh, you know, I don't know. But those are the. Oh, and here's the other thing I wanted to show you guys. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this before, but there's been this stuff on the internet about this mystery fog that shows up in different places. And the theories behind it are that it's a government thing or it's some type of, harmful type of chemicals or what have you. But I want to show you this if I can. This showed up on my front camera, my front of my stoop camera. And it was raining, and you can see there's snow on the ground. It was raining, and there was fog, but there was no wind at the time because I went out there when I saw this. Now, watch this. Isn't this strange? Like when I went out there was no wind. It wasn't. This looks like it's blowing. The wind is blowing like snow or something towards the camera. But no, none of that was going on. As I slow it down, it wasn't snowing though, Delilah. It wasn't. It's strange. It was not snowing. It had been raining, as you can see in the background. Um, you could see in the background the walkway is wet over here. Right? You could see it's shiny and wet, but it was not snowing when this happened. This my camera went off, and I saw this, and I was like, "Wow, this is bizarre." So I don't know. It was strange to me how it was blowing as if the wind was like shooting all over the place, but it really wasn't. Zelda, no. The chimney is nowhere near this. This is the front of the house. This is the front door. And when I wasn't burning wood at the time, I was certainly not burning wood at the time. Now this is you might think this was a chimney. This isn't a chimney. This is just brick. This is brick on my front. Like my front door's here, and there's brick on both sides of my front door. So I don't know. Was the light on? The light is on in the distance. You could see it there. There's a lamppost that I have on my front yard, and it shines. You could see it. That's why you could see the shiny, the rain of the water on that it was wet from the reflection of that. But the light is not on here. This is a night vision camera. It's a night vision thing that went off. So the light was not on in the front of the stoop. Hey, Slim. Good to see you, my friend. Osada, yes, Osada did talk about it. You're right. Osada did talk about that fog. You're absolutely right, Tony. He's here, Osada. Okay, I know he was here. Osada, is this the fog that you were talking about? I should have sent you this so you could get a better look at it. But if you're still here, take a look at this. Is this the fog you were talking about? This was in my front yard, on my front steps. So I don't know. You know what I'll do? I'll send it to you in case you just stopped in and you left. I'm going to send it to you, and you can get your opinion of it. Yes, exactly, Usada. Exactly. Yes, because I opened the door when this happened, and there was nothing there. There was absolutely nothing there. Yeah, this was this. I was telling everybody there was absolutely nothing there. There was no wind. There was nothing. Just this on the camera. So creepy stuff. Hey, Vincent. Do I think it's paranormal? No, I don't. No, I don't think it was like a ghost. I don't think it was ghostly stuff at all. I think I'm just wondering if it's that mystery fog that people have been seeing around the country. That's all. That's what I was thinking. Manuel, does anyone like jelly belly jelly beans? Jelly belly jelly beans. Don't know. What is that different than a regular jelly bean? I don't know. You tell us. Jelly belly jelly beans. Okay. Anyway, so that was my own little personal thing there that I had for you. I'll stop sharing that. We can be done with that. But yeah, so those were my 3 stories and my videos. On this Valentine's Day 2025. So I hope you all had a great time listening in and talking to each other as well. Magooch says it's pollen. No, it would not be pollen. No, it definitely would not be pollen. It's 30 degrees out. Well, actually, it was lower than 30 degrees when this happened. There's no pollen in the air now. Not this time. Not in January. This was in January. This was January 31st. There's definitely no pollen here. So I don't know. Mist of some type. Yes, definitely a mist. It's definitely a mist. But it's a mist I couldn't see without the camera. I couldn't. I opened the door and it wasn't there. So it's just bizarre. Oh, thank you, Tony. Yes, thank you for being a part of it. Thank you. Bobo, chocolate covered cherry time. Nice. I know Osada was out selling his strawberries. I hope he did well today. He's been doing it all week, so I hope he did well. But anyway, but that's our stories for tonight. That's my Valentine's gift to you guys. Right, Lenny? And Victor back there. Victor's back there. There he is. You know what? You can't even see his hat. Let me bring him over here so you can see his hat. Here's Victor's fancy fedora. Look at that. Look at that guy. Can't beat that. He's sharp. He's looking sharp. Right, Lenny? Looking sharp as usual. So, there we go. Putting you down over here. Right, Tony? It's stunning. It's a stunning hat. Look at that. Woo! He's a snazzy dresser. Look at that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you have a good remaining Valentine's Day evening. And we will be back next week. I don't know what it's going to be about yet. I haven't done any research yet, but we'll try to find something interesting. We always do, right? But try to tune into Slim. He'll be on later if you're doing nothing. I'm sure he'll be on at 10. He usually goes on at 10. So check him out. If not, enjoy the rest of the evening. And we'll see you next time. And as always, I say thank you for watching. I'll blow out my candles. What's going on here? There we go. Got all three of them. And God bless. Thank you so much.